Why is Ukraine-Russia conflict important to the United States? Welcome to my channel, Why? My name is Dennis, and today I want to explore this exciting question or topic of why the Ukraine-Russia conflict is important to the United States, and how America could be affected. As a quick preview, there is a broad list of reasons why the Ukrainian-Russian conflict is very important to the United States. The United States is a country that has been involved in many conflicts over the past couple of decades. Whether it is a civil war, an international conflict, or terrorism, the United States has always been there to help. These foreign policy skills and experience engender high-level diplomatic critical thinking skills, identification of problem-solving skills, a greater understanding of international conflict issues, the ability to provide world-class security, and of course, top-class military power. But don't stop watching here, because I have more to tell you. So, what is the importance of the United States as a superpower? As background, most recently, the United States was involved in a civil war in Syria. The United States helped to provide medical supplies and weapons to those fighting against Bashar al-Assad's regime. This Middle East conflict went on for years and is still not entirely resolved. Another recent conflict that the United States was involved with was the Korean War. This war started in 1950, when North Korea invaded South Korea. The Korean War lasted 3 years and resulted in 2 million deaths and 4 million wounded soldiers from both sides of the border. The United States has avoided a major war for over a century. But with the rise of Russia and China competing as regional or global superpowers, America could be at risk for a new conflict. It is not just an issue for America, but it is also an issue for the rest of the world. Suppose there was to be a new conflict between these two nations. In that case, it could lead to an economic disaster that would affect everyone on Earth. Importance of Ukraine to the United States. Ukraine is located in Eastern Europe and borders Russia, Belarus, Poland, and Slovakia. It is one of the largest countries in Europe with a population of 44 million people. It is in the best interest of the United States to have a stable Ukraine because it is an important country to the United States. The United States had a long-standing relationship with Ukraine, dating back to the early 1990s when it was still part of the Soviet Union. In 1991, Ukraine became an independent country after declaring its independence from the Soviet Union. Since then, there have been many military conflicts between Russia and Ukraine over control of Ukrainian territory, which led to Russia annexing Crimea in 2014. Ukraine has been a battleground for many different forces over the years. Russia has invaded it, as it is currently doing, and some of its eastern regions are still under Russian occupation. The United States has taken steps to provide Ukraine with military assistance. Still, it also needs to work with other European countries and international organizations like NATO, the European Union, and the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe to help stabilize Ukraine. How the Ukrainian crisis could affect American politics. The recent 2022 invasion by Russia and the Ukrainian crisis has been an ongoing conflict in Eastern Europe, which indirectly is a proxy war between Russia and the United States. It has affected international relations, the global economy, and American politics. The United States has been involved in this conflict since it started, and it will likely continue to be involved for many years to come. Nonetheless, American politics, politicians, news agencies, and current political leadership are flush with local and foreign pressure to act and act correctly. How the Ukrainian crisis will affect American trade. It is still unclear how this current 2022 Russia's invasion of Ukraine may impact trade or its magnitude. However, the United States and European Union may have wrongly prejudged Russia's thick skin and consequent response this time around. The United States and European Union have long been the major trading partners with Ukraine. Back in 2014, the US and EU imposed sanctions on Russia for its annexation of Crimea. The sanctions were in response to Russia's actions in Ukraine. The US also imposed sanctions on Russia and Russian individuals and companies, which led to a decrease in trade between the two countries. Russia was one of the top 10 trading partners of the United States in 2013, with total exports from Russia to America valued at $27 billion. By 2021, trade with Russia further dropped to number 35, with imports only valued at $10 billion, according to CNN Money. In response to the older sanctions, Russia banned imports of certain Western products, including foodstuffs. It led to higher prices for these products in Russia and a shortage of many goods in Russian stores. It also led to a decrease in trade between the US and EU countries with Ukraine, which hurt American trade with Ukraine overall. Concerning newer sanctions, no one is sure how Russia will react or respond. How the Ukrainian crisis could lead to an economic recession in America. The previous Ukrainian crisis has already had a negative impact on the American economy. The current one is predicted to have more negative consequences. For one, the price of oil has gone up significantly. This is because Russia is one of the world's largest oil producers, and it supplies much of Europe's oil. The current and coming sanctions against Russia make it difficult for European countries to import Russian gas. It means that Europe will need to buy more expensive gas from elsewhere. In closing, an economic recession in America could happen if the situation in Ukraine gets worse, or if other geopolitical events affect American trade with Europe and Asia. Please subscribe to my channel, like it, ring the bell, and share the videos to help us grow. Please post your comment to share your thoughts or knowledge about the topic, and that this video was helpful to you. Remember to send me your why questions. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.